Aloha, everyone. This is Jean Marie Russell of Dolphin Touch Wellness Center here in Kauai, Hawaii. Lovely background that I have here on the Zoom call that we have here. And I have a healing center in Kapa'a, Hawaii. If you are coming to Hawaii, definitely check us out. Our website is dolphintouch.org. We have a number of activities going on. We have weekly events, and you could check out our calendar. Coming up, we have an event in June 2nd through the 7th, where we will be going to Mount Shasta to do a retreat. And it's always transformative and powerful and energetic. We connect with a beautiful healer over there named Matthew Bueno. He's a Native American that is a beautiful chanter and healer. And we have a wonderful week-long experience over there, very transformative. We go on excursions, we connect with nature, and we do meditations and deep diving and different trainings and Lemurian activations and fun stuff over there. In our center here, we have these lovely Andara crystals, which I have one of them right in front of me right now. And we have them at our center, and we connect people with the energy and vibration of the dolphins, doing the dolphin energetics in the ocean. We also do dolphin energetics on our water massage table right here, teaching classes like Reiki, energy healing, breath work, and all of the above. Currently, we are working on our Oracle card deck, the Dolphin Oracle card deck, which should be finished in the next couple of weeks. And we'll be launching that very soon. And I have a lovely guest today, Sara Wilder Reilly, who I got to meet here in Kauai at my center. And she just walked in. We took a Reiki class, did some energy work, and we've been friends ever since. And it's been great and lovely. And Sara, welcome to our podcast. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much, Jeannie.
So
Great to
tell
be
us
here.
a little bit about yourself and what you do and the energy work that you have learned since you've been here with us. And just let's start with a little intro of who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. Well, I'm happy to say that I have known you for a minute. I first I came to Kauai and really tapped into this phase of where I am right now in 2016.
2016, I was trying to remember wow, it has
Yeah.
been a minute.
So it has been a minute. And, at the time I was going through, excuse me, a really large transition in changing my relationship and leveling up my life.
Yeah.
And so I came to you at a pivotal time where I really needed to find new tools and ways of being and doing that I hadn't done before. And
Yes.
mhm,
What did we start with? Was it?
yeah, the first thing that really helped was we did some dolphin energetics on the mermaid table.
Yes.
And that is kind of like that door opening piece. Also, we were able to do a rebirthing ceremony and intention setting,
Yeah.
which again helped catalyst the change and that shift in consciousness that I needed at the time
Mm-hmm.
to change, right? Because I think so many times we get stuck in our routines and our ways of doing and our ways of being, that it's until we can step outside of ourselves that we could really look back at ourselves and be ourselves.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah. Sometimes we have to take that eagle eye viewpoint and then
Mhm.
look down and like, oh, who are we? What have we created? What's this world we're creating?
Yeah.
And what shifted for you after that?
You know, gosh, I'd say that was the it was a starting point to really have a lot more self-love
Mm,
and self-care, and gave me the permission that I needed to prioritize myself, to give to myself the things that I needed to do more and be more of who I am.
oh, how perfect.
Yeah, it was really a spark. Like it was something that at the time when I came to, it was very raw, and I could feel that it was smoldering, and it was, it was in need of more flame.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, being on Kauai, we needed that healing water energy to wash away everything else that was no longer serving. So it was, I look at those kind of door opening practices that you taught me as a way to, like, we're going to reignite this fire. We're going to wash away everything else that doesn't work. And now we're going to create from a new foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the analogy of a clean sheet of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at your life, and we're going to erase everything. We're going to start off with a clean sheet of paper. And now, what do you want to create? What do you want to put on this, or this blank canvas? And what do you want to make on this canvas? What do you want to add? How do you want to see your life?
Yeah. I think one of the things that's really interesting about having that blank canvas and that blank sheet is, again, I think we forget that we could do that every day, right? Like how we show up, how we keep doing the work. Every day is that new, fresh moment to start looking at how we want to start and reflect and grow and change.
Actually, that's a really good practice, because you don't want to take the issues of the previous day or the past with you. A
Mhm.
lot of times we'll like dwell on, oh, did I make a mistake, or did I say the wrong thing, or did I upset somebody? And then that's like festering within us, and that is sucking our like force. So it's taking our energy away. So we know about energy now. You learned Reiki and everything else, and energy is everything. And so if we're giving our energy away to these thoughts in our mind, or this program that's playing over and over and over again, then we don't
Mhm.
have the energy for other things in our life, our creative process, our other aspects that we want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really a lot of the practices that we worked on and that we started really just help clear the slate, help turn the page, and refresh and bring more into that authentic being that, for me as a creative, I'm just, and I wouldn't say I'm constantly looking to improve, but I always know that we can be more than we think we are. And it's in that knowing of that piece that has you, for me, look at like what can be better in the situation.
Yeah, I think there is always room for improvement in
Mhm.
some way. I don't think we ever reach the end. Okay, I know everything now, or I figured it all
No.
out. Even those who are enlightened, I don't think they've got all the answers themselves. And even when I look at enlightenment, it's like we might have moments of enlightenment, or maybe a few more than moments, maybe an hour. But
Mhm.
it's like to have a continuous stream of enlightenment. I don't know too many people on the planet who are like that. And it's
Wow.
constantly, we're constantly like moving towards, and as long as we're moving forward, even if it's a little inch every day, we're going in the right direction.
Exactly.
Yeah, you were at a difficult point in your relationship, and things were going kind of, and then and relationship, it affects everything. It affects work. Nothing to me is isolated. If we're having trouble with the relationship, we're having trouble with the work, it's like that harmony affects everything, every aspect of who we are. And then
Mhm.
when we come into balance in our relationship, then everything kind of comes into balance. And it's not
And
just your relationship with other people, but it's your relationship with yourself.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was gonna
Uh,
say, and that's where that like starts.
Absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. I love that you talked about the self-love piece, learning how to love yourself again. Tell us a little bit more about that process for you.
Yeah, so at the time, I don't know if I said it before. So I was going through a divorce after a really, long relationship that took up more the 90% of my early adulthood. And I think, my biggest lessons I could look back to at that is there was times when I had let myself go and I was a mother of young kids. And I think that loving yourself first piece tends to take the backstage too fast as we give ourselves more to everything else that comes before ourselves. And I really believe and look back at that is the self-love piece, right? Because if we loved ourselves first, we wouldn't be treating ourselves last. And that is a really, I think, a key piece as we age and as we grow and as we change and as we can be a reflection and a role model for other people in our lives, is really how do you treat the person that's closest to you every day, with
Ab-
words, with food, with time and space. um that was that for me was the change. And so Reiki was a big part of it. And when you speak to vibration, that was the year I was also called to learn to play the Native American flute.
Yes,
And I started my sound healing journey.
I love that.
And at the time, it was the first thing that I could do. And I have my first flute right here because it's still like
Oh,
something that I absolutely cherish and play on the regular.
thanks.
And your breath is so strong, and it's like it's in symbiotic relationship with your heartbeat. And when you're playing the flute, it was the first time for me that I could shut off the mind chatter and that own inner noise
Mm.
long enough to focus on my breath. Because if you can't shut off the noise, you're not going to breathe right, and the flute is not going to sound great. And so it was a very quick lesson in that mind, body, breath, calming of the mind connection that I had never had before up until that time. So I started kind of picking up all these different elements of Reiki and sound and vibrational healing and our own resonance and how we keep ourselves in harmony, and then have those coalesce. And that kind of just kept adding to that story of me and what could bring me calm and what would bring me peace. And as I would do that, I started to share with others.
That is so beautiful. I love that. I love that. Yeah, the dolphins talk a lot about breath work, and they actually have this 3-4-5 breath where you
Mm-hmm.
breathe in for 3, hold for 4, and then exhale for 5. And if we practice that, we can just do a quick breathing
Let's do
in
it.
for 3. Okay, let's do
Yeah, that
it.
sounds fun.
Sounds fun. So just take breathing in for 3 beats, holding for 4, and then exhaling for 5. And breathing in for 3, holding for 4, and then exhaling for 5. And we'll do it one more time. I love threes.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do it, um, breathing in clean, clear, life-giving oxygen and feeling like all your cells getting oxygenated and filled up with this life force energy. As you hold, you're integrating that energy with your body. And then as you exhale, any tension or holding anywhere in your body, you're going to let go. Okay, so breathe in for 3, hold for 4, And then exhale for 5. Yeah, immediately it quiets the mind chatter. And the thing is, like we have these programs that are running. And when you're using your body and your mind, because you got to focus and you got to concentrate, it brings you back into center, takes you out of your head, out of that program that's been running or whatever thoughts you're processing. And it also helps you to really focus on your body. A lot of us are out of our bodies. A lot of people
Mhm.
are, we're not, we're up in this higher realm, or, it's safer to be out of your body. Actually, a lot of people feel safer out of their body. They're not even realizing, but they're not fully in their body and grounded to the earth. And that's why we're down here. We're not here to be angels floating around. And, so, we came down here to feel our physical bodies and to the taste of a strawberry, the feel of a kiss, the hugs. We want that connection, that physical touch. And so when we are out of our bodies, we're not connected to that. But once we come back into our bodies, and then we're grounded, and then, yeah, we're out of our head and we're into our bodies. How'd that feel for you doing that, Sarah?
Oh, so good.
So when you do
Almost
your
not-
sound healing, tell us a little bit about that. So you play the flute.
I play all sorts of good things. Um, some of my favorite modalities would be the flute. And, that's really mind body connection with the sound.
Mhm.
I absolutely love I have crystal singing bowls and a
Yes.
gong. I have this drum that just gives you the most talk about grounding. I always love to use the drum to bring us back to that grounded,
Mhm.
the stillness, core energy, because it's kind of like mimics your heartbeat and your own resonance. So you can
Mhm.
really feel it. I love my Tibetan bowls.
Yay.
Those
Yes.
are always fun. You know, it's interesting because for the longest time, I was kind of had my life in two tracks of this spiritual, intentional way of being and doing, going alongside my business with interior design. So my everyday is designing spaces for people and helping create the most nurturing places for them so that they can go out and do their best work. And, our spaces are such a reflection of ourselves. And for me, the sound piece was the thing that I was able to start using to clear energy from people so that they could see themselves in their spaces more clearly,
So
if
you
that makes any sense.
incorporated that with your work.
I do, yeah.
That's so
So so we have like our traditional sound bath and sound healing, if you will, and energy work. But where it starts to get really fun is when you use that in combination of that interior design side of things, whether it's clearing the space first to make way for something new, or shifting energetics within a home after an illness or trauma or fight or, bigger things, loss. Um, I think that's another piece where that can really come in and help shift. And
it's
then also using feng shui, right? Because that's the energetic other side of things where we can like look at our space from the bagua and those elements as well and use it in conjunction with all these other modalities. And so what's been really interesting about my career is as I've used these separate elements to further enhance my own individual life, it's really given me a kit of tools to help work with my clients.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't know too many people that are doing that, actually. I think you're pretty unique in that department.
Yeah.
No, that's great. So, when we learned Reiki, we did the shoku
Hmm.
and the different symbols in the four corners of the room. But you could also use sound and
Exactly.
put that in the four corners of the room to clear space.
So
Is
I
that
think,
what? Yeah.
yeah,
How else can you use
abs
sound?
absolutely. So sound, clearing space with sound, right? Because we're changing the vibration, we're changing the chi, we're inviting a new energy. We're
Yeah.
starting with that intention, but also bringing the sound in to you yourself before you even asked you what your favorite color is,
Mm,
right? So are you centered enough to speak clearly and to flow clearly into what it is you want to create before we've even created?
nice. So you do a little meditation with them
Exactly. So I
before?
think, yeah.
Hmm.
So a lot of times when I'm doing a one-on-one and we, some of my clients I work with for years because we're doing new construction, we're starting a home from nothing.
Hmm.
And then other clients, I may meet you and work with you for 2 hours or an hour.
Hmm.
And so it's in those moments that we really use meditation and sound we need to shut everything else out first, drop into being in a place of just you and I and the space itself, and figuring out what it needs to support you and what you need to support it.
I love that. Think that's totally beautiful. I do you feel like each space has its own, I don't know, vibration or
Resonance.
energy or resonance, right?
Absolutely. And I know you're really a sensitive being. I am, and I can go into a space and you can instantly feel when it needs something, if it doesn't, and where that lack is and where that energetic pull is, whether it's from the inhabitants or just the space itself. And it's in that experience of, all the modalities that you can start to play with. Oh, energetically, I know what is needed here.
Mm.
Because often a home or a space will talk to you if you're willing to listen, and you'll start to see the different things that would improve it, whether it's opening up a window and adding more light to, decluttering. I think sometimes we have that habit of making everything in our lives precious, but then when everything is precious, nothing is precious, and our stuff starts to own us as opposed to
Totally. Oh,
like
yeah,
the
I
other way
totally.
around.
Yes, yes. I actually come from a family of hoarders.
Yeah, bless them.
Yeah, I
I mean,
think
I have them
everybody
too.
knows somebody who's a hoarder, you know? And
Um,
yeah, it totally like blocks the energy. It blocks the energy. You could feel the density when you go
it
in.
it completely does. And then, another thing that's I'm getting ready to post a blog post, I think in about a week and a half or so. But I've also been pulled to a lot of clients going through transition and blending families. And that's something that's really near and dear to myself as I've now blended a family over the past couple of years. But I think sometimes in this blog post, it's about, finding and re-looking at art and its story and the power it holds on us when it's from a different relationship or a different time,
Absolutely.
and what that
Absolutely.
looks like and giving it meaning. Because I think sometimes we come into new relationship and part of us wants to like throw away everything that came before that moment, which is great when you need to do that and have to purge and have to clear. But then there's other elements of that past when it's a collective past that isn't necessarily all doom and gloom, but has
Mhm.
its bruising moments. But how do you honor those moments too and bring them into a next phase? So there's this kind of like blending and dance that needs to happen with these pieces. And I found myself with this couple, and it was this beautiful, beautiful piece of art that was in a closet. And I guessed what it was before we even pulled it out of the closet. And the first thing that came to me is she does not belong in the closet. She needs to be in the light. And so we started really looking at this dichotomy about the things that we keep in the dark and the things we put in the light, and how that goes with our relationships, right? And so much of the time, it may just be something that needs to be spoken to honor it,
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
talk through it, and to give it new
Yeah.
meaning. Assuming you still love it and your new partner likes it, there's no reason that it's something that you need to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
I think teaching people to look a little bit differently about how you go through space with blending and relationships and navigating that's another kind of special thing that I love to speak
Yeah.
to
I
at some
mean,
point.
that is a part of your history,
Mhm.
it's not like that never existed. So
Exactly.
having to embrace that, or embracing the good moments that showed
Uh-huh.
up, and yeah, and focusing on that rather than others.
Or letting it go, but not keeping it in a closet, because that in itself is its own different form of energy draining chi.
Oh,
Because you're not
yeah.
honoring it. It's not
Right.
thriving. It's in the dark. It's not being used. It's not having its own vibration out back into your space.
Mm, yes, good point. I have a question for you. So my
Yeah.
dad loves to go to flea markets,
Mm-hmm.
and like you were saying, like he picks up these things from flea markets, and I feel like they carry an energy of the person before.
Yes.
And yeah, what's your take on stuff from flea markets?
I couldn't agree with that more. I think, like and you would speak to this like with our own being and learning how to clear our own energy. I think it becomes part of that intention behind when you're bringing that new piece into your home and how you treat it. And so there's different ways that you can clear it. We could sage it, we could pray upon it, we could help release any other attachments or cords that might be holding that back to its previous incarnation with whoever it lived with before.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with the home. Um, and then you make it your own, right? So I do feel that you could bring something in with its own pure clarity and best intentions to be within your dad's space, for example, without having any negative mojo or
Right.
sense that you don't want in a space. So I would definitely say clear it.
Yeah, I
And then
don't
if
think
you clear it and you still feel the feels that you don't want to feel, then I would get rid of it.
yeah, definitely.
Right?
I agree. I don't think too many people do that with
Mhm.
garage sale things, or even gifts you get, some people like hand-me-downs or
Mhm.
whatever, or it's like, hey, I'm not using this anymore. You can have it. Yeah, I think taking the time to clear the energy, I'm all about energy. So
Well, and it's interesting that you just said time. I was working with one of my teachers this past week with a Vedic astrology reading, and we started to speak to time. And she gently reminded me, she's like, never accept a watch from anybody and never give a watch to anybody. Because
mm,
that she's like symbolically, you're accepting their negative time and the time they don't have. So that was, I think, a really another interesting tidbit that I want to play with and think about with this idea of time.
and if you give a watch to somebody, what are you doing? How does that?
She said not to. She's like, it's not, she's like, never gift you, then you're giving your time away.
Mm,
Uh-huh.
interesting. So if you have a watch that you don't like anymore, what are you supposed to just throw it out?
I don't know. We didn't get that far in the reading.
I know I ask those tough questions, but yeah, no, that's really interesting. Yeah,
Maybe you give it away with good intentions and it becomes something someone can find or purchase, right? But it's not a gift.
mm, maybe, yeah,
Yeah.
you have some kind of energy exchange for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, because I was looking through my jewelry drawer, and I found all these watches, because
Yeah.
I was always like trying to find the right watch, and I was like, I have a ton of watches I don't even need. that I collected over the years, you know,
Yeah.
I was like, I should get rid of these, and I have to think about that. But
I thought it was interesting. But I
yeah,
think like anything that we do, it's, it's all fueled with that intention piece.
yes, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, if you give it with love, or you could clear the energy or whatever. But it's, yeah. The other thing was never put your purse on the floor.
ooh,
Right? That's a tough
yeah.
one. But yeah, never put your purse on the floor, because that's like you're not honoring your money, right?
Yeah.
And you're just like discarding it or throwing it down or whatever. Always put it on a counter or on your chair or whatever. Yeah. That was a
hmm
tidbit of information. You just never know what you're going to find when you check in with us here. Yeah, so I would say that everything is energy.
It
And
is.
um and how did you get into this design work? What was your passion? How did this journey start? I'm just curious.
It's, gosh, it started like 23 years ago. So this journey of creativity for me is has always been a way to express myself and to help others feel that expression.
Mm-hmm.
And I started it, our, I hate to say it, are things loud in the background? Are
No.
you okay? Okay, good. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. But basically, design is something that I think everybody should be privy to, and to be able to have a space that reflects them, that really feels like it nurtures them, is huge. And I think we sometimes forget that. And my goal and my calling has always been to help others create the spaces that help nurture them. And for me, when it's the right fit and when it's the right alignment, it is just fun and it's easy and it flows. And so, like anything that we do, when you get to that place of fun, easy flow, you're doing the right thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't doubt that you're doing the right thing. I'm curious, like, so did you grow up in a very clean and organized space, or was it chaos?
It was chaos.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a little bit of clutter, a lot of chaos. Definitely had to, rework a little bit of tapes around things. Oh, that's too good for you. You can't have that. And change, the kind of a little bit of mindset around that and what a space means and how it feels and the worth that comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, spaces, I say worth because I think we, again, back to the self-love and self-worth, we tie our spaces to that same reflection and that same story.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is we're surrounding ourselves with is really, again, that reflection of what you think you deserve and what you think you want to be.
So you grew up in chaos, and
Mhm.
obviously it didn't sit right with you, right? It didn't feel comfortable, it didn't feel welcoming or loving or supportive or what?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it was complete chaos. It was more of it wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that
You
that's,
never felt safer at home.
yeah, it wasn't the reflection of who I was and what my being needed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say that, and this is really, I think, an important aspect of how I show up in design. And you'll see this on my website. I don't have like a style and a one size fits all approach to what I do because, it's not about me. And I think that's the biggest piece that we can take away is a space that nurtures you, that feels good to Jeannie is
Mm-hmm.
probably something completely different than what feels good to Sarah. And
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. Like there's going to be different colors and different levels of clutter and stuff and things and styles. And that's the piece that I think I find so much joy in discovering, because it's an investigation. It's really looking at what's the essence of you as a being and what would support you, because that's going to be a completely different thing than a different client.
It's so true. And
Right. So
that's a
that's
beautiful
the
way.
piece that I love, it's
Right.
that
The self-discovery
it's
of
the
how everyone is
self-discovery.
different.
Mhm. And that uncovering, because I think when a lot of people come to me, they are stuck. They're like, I live here, it doesn't feel good. I don't know what to do. I
Right.
can't go shopping and find the thing, or we just moved in together and there's his stuff and my stuff, and it doesn't even feel like us. Help. So you get that because I think you get in, what a TV show or like a furniture catalog shows you, like, this is what's popular. And you
Right.
need to really be able to throw away this idea of like what's popular for everybody else and what feels good for you.
Yeah. No, that's a beautiful approach.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you do that. Yeah, because everyone is different and everyone's relationship to energy and space is different.
Mm-hmm.
Also based on our childhood maybe or the way we grew up or, they're okay with a little clutter because that feels normal to them, where someone else might be like, oh my God, this is way too much,
Oh,
you know.
I mean, I know for myself when I'm feeling stuck energetically and like things aren't going right, what's going on? I start decluttering. And it's like, I need to move 27 things. I need to get things out of my space. And it's that process of removing that really allows the chi to flow again, right? It's
Right.
that same thing. And that's the simplest way you could think of feng shui is that you're inviting chi into your space. And what is chi but this universal life force and energy that needs to thrive? And if your space is dark and heavy and cluttered, chi wants no part of that.
No.
Like they're going to be out in the sunshine and in the surf and
Yes.
enjoying all the beauty and life offerings, and they
Hmm.
are not going to surround you.
Right.
Mm.
Exactly. Yeah. Because chi, just like energy, wants to move,
It
wants to
does.
flow. And if
Hmm.
there's no room for it to move or flow, it just gets stuck.
Yeah. And then like you could even think about it even on a little like granular level. I have this meditation that I've written, and it's really meant to imagine this chi. And I always picture it as this like dancing, playful ball of light that just wants to explore and see all the beautiful things it could see and all the magic everywhere. And it goes around the neighborhood and it goes around the forest and it goes around the ocean. And if you're lucky enough, it comes to you and it dances within your own space. So, how do you make yourself just as beautiful as the ocean and inviting as the forest? So, this chi just wants to give you its vibes and its resonance.
Oh, that's
Like
beautiful.
that
That's
kind
a
of
great
imagining.
exercise. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anybody can do that.
exactly. And I think we forget to, well, it's not that we forget to do it, it's like we don't know how. And I try to, when I'm working with my students on feng shui, I speak to it like that. It's like, it's just this playful thing. It's this ball, it's this energy. And it wants to share its light with you.
Hmm.
Will you let it? Are you
Yeah.
inviting it in?
Oh, that's a beautiful analogy. I love that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, like I see a plant behind you, and
Uh-huh.
it reminds me, I love that. So my husband's office, he's an oral surgeon and
Hmm.
it gets heavy sometimes dealing, patients, usually don't want to go see an oral surgeon. It's
Yeah.
their number one, list of things to visit. But so the office, so we were in the office and we're like, okay, it's a beautiful office. We have it, we just designed it. It's very nice. And it's like, well, it's a little something missing. And so we ordered these olive plants. They weren't
Mm.
real, they're fake because and we put them in the treatment rooms, in the consult rooms. And it made such a huge shift. And it's actually friendly and inviting. You walk in, you see this big olive tree, and it like, wow, I can't believe how much that simple change made a difference. It's just so
Absolutely.
powerful. Yeah. So Sarah, tell us how we can get a hold of you and how to reach you and some of the things you're offering.
Oh, absolutely. Well, my website is samaridesign.com. That's,
That's SAMARIDESIN.com.
oh, you forgot a G on design,
Oh,
but
did
that's,
I? DESIGN.
there we go. That's just as good. But so Samari, that's another thing that's come to me since 2016. And it's an acronym, and it stands for spiritually aligned, mindfully approached, responsible intent.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and I look at that as a way we show up in what we do every day.
Nice.
And that's how we approach our design practice. Um, I'm really excited to be surrounded by a small team, and we do everything from whole house interior design in Colorado, where we've traveled a little bit for that. We have online services as well. And let's see, what else do we have coming up in 2025 that I'm super excited about? We'll be offering some showroom tours and potentially a Santa Fe design retreat in the summer.
Oh, that'd be
So
fun.
that's in the works,
What's the
but
design retreat?
it's in the works. I can't tell you yet.
Oh,
But you can get on the list.
right. Wow. Yeah.
Well, it would
Oh,
yeah, it involves working on your space ahead of time
mhm.
as a group, individual, and then going together as a group to really hone in and find those pieces that resonate with you and bringing them back to your space. So
Lovely.
it's a way to kind of collect as a group and a whole to create your space and have fun
Lovely.
together. Yeah. And there is going to be sound healing and some other juicy things in there.
Now, I think you also said you had 60 minutes of clarity. Tell us a little
Oh,
bit about
yes.
that.
So that's one of my favorites. So I have again, quite often many clients who just want to drop in and feel like they are stuck. And usually there's a little bit of energetic piece and home piece that's coming together, and it's never just like a design piece. If it was that simple, it'd be simple. But during our calls, we work on just intention setting, getting to the root of a problem in your home, whether that's from a feng shui component or you're working on just like a bathroom redesign and you're kind of stuck and pulling together your palette. It's a fun way to just drop in, have that clarity of creativity, and keep going with whatever it is you're trying to do. And so I do offer those in 60-minute sessions, and it's really, again, crafted to what your needs are. So it's a good blending for that inspiration point, especially with coming into the new year. I know
Yeah.
it's a good time to reflect and really take inventory of what it is you want to create personally. And I think, that space can really help you hone in and nurture and support you more than you could ever think, really.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for being on our podcast today. It was lovely talking to you again and seeing you on the video and connecting and hearing all the beautiful things that you're doing and your family and everything coming into alignment. I'm very, very happy for you, Sarah.
Oh, thank you, Jeannie. I'm so grateful to have you to walk this journey with me. And I can't wait to see you in Kauai next time I'm there.
Yeah. All right. Well, hui ho, everybody. We hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you next time on Dolphins, Lemuria, and Higher Levels of Consciousness. Aloha.